Hello my friends, and welcome back to Cryptid Central. I hope you are well. As you may already know, Cryptid Central recently reached 100 subscribers, and so I wanted to say thank you, in person, for all of your support so far. It's much appreciated, more than you'll ever know, and the positive response I've received from everyone so far has been absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, fellow travellers and cryptid enthusiasts. Now, with that said, let's get into the new video, 10 Cryptids You've Never Heard Of, Part 4.
Number 10. The Afanc. The Afanc was a strange cryptid that was said to live in the lakes across the British country of Wales and was described as looking like a crocodile-beaver hybrid with the ability to shoot poison darts. Medieval records from the 15th century mentioned the Afanc numerous times, and it was said to be a monstrous creature that would devour anyone foolish enough to swim in or fall into its territory. One of the earliest descriptions of the Afanc is given by the 15th century poet Lewis Glyn Cothey, who described it as living in Llyn Cyfadden, now Llangors Lake in Powys. Like many monsters written about in medieval times, it seems that there was only one specimen, or only one that was known about. It makes one wonder about what phenomenon was at work in those times that could create monstrous, individual creatures. What is referred to as sorcery and magic today could have in fact been a form of ancient science, now either forgotten about or forbidden. Could this ancient sorcery, or science, with its spells, or experiments, have been responsible for the creation of some of these frightening creatures? The Afanc was recorded as being killed in the story of Peredur, son of Efrog, in which the creature was said to have the ability to turn invisible. Perhaps, in actuality, the Afanc had chameleonic abilities. Use of what is referred to as an adder stone was required in order to make the creature visible. Upon doing so, Peredur was able to impale the beast with his sword before slicing its head off. The adder stone could have in fact been a piece of now lost ancient technology, perhaps an infrared sensor that could detect the creature's body heat. With the Afanc dead, this was yet one more creature to be disposed of, one more monstrous experiment to be buried, but not completely. The story was rewritten as a fantastical tale, as the powers that be knew that letting the story live on as a fairy tale was a far more effective method of hiding the truth than attempting to eradicate it completely. The truth always finds its way to the surface, eventually. Number 9. Marcupo. Leaving Britain and making our way to the Southeast Asian country of the Philippines, we will attempt to catch a glimpse of the serpentine cryptid known as the Marcupo, which lives in the heavily forested mountains. The Marcupo is a deadly, venomous creature with a red crest displayed prominently on its head, a long tongue with thorn-like hairs growing out of it, sharp tusks, and a demonic, forked tail. It is said that the Marcupo spits venom at anyone foolish enough to approach it, much like the cobra. It is also known to have songbird-like qualities, and that it sings during quiet, peaceful days. The pleasant song doesn't make for a pleasant creature, however, and it will attack you ferociously if it spots you. Number 8. The Fresno Nightcrawler. In Fresno, California, USA, there is a strange creature that appears to be all legs and little else, known as the Fresno Nightcrawler. One of the few cryptids to have been caught on film not once but twice, the Nightcrawler is a truly odd-looking creature. Judging by this footage, taken on a home security system in Fresno, we can see that the creature is quite short, around 1.5 meters tall, with 2 legs that make up the majority of its height. Possesses no arms, has an extremely small body and a small head. It's extremely thin and its skin is white. Due to the poor quality of the footage, it's difficult to make out much in the way of detail. It is, however, still incredibly interesting, and we're most fortunate that real footage of this cryptid actually exists. More security footage, this time taken by cameras in Yosemite National Park, shows the Nightcrawler once again, this time a little more clearly. The same or a similar creature has also been reported in Poland, this time being recorded on a phone or handheld camera. It isn't visible for long, but can be seen here momentarily. Some say it's a cryptid, others say it's alien in origin. Some say both. Whatever it is, it's not something you want to come across while out for a pleasant nighttime stroll. Number 7. The Jackalope. Remaining in North America, we have another cryptid that looks a little more at home on Earth. That's not to say it isn't at all strange, however. The jackalope, its name a portmanteau of jackrabbit and antelope, is a rabbit-like cryptid with antelope-like horns. Said to be one of the fastest land animals on Earth, it also has a fierce reputation and is called the killer rabbit by some. They also have peculiar breeding habits, as they are said to only mate during electrical storms, explaining its rarity. In the town of Douglas, Wyoming, it's possible to obtain jackalope hunting licenses from the Douglas Chamber of Commerce, though the hunting of jackalopes is restricted to the hours of 12 AM to 2 AM and is only permitted on one day of the year, June 31st. Number 6. Altamaha-ha. The Loch Ness Monster is arguably the most famous of water cryptids, but that doesn't mean it's the only one in existence. In the Altamaha River in southern Georgia, USA, there is a cryptid known as the Altamaha-ha, also called Alti. It was first discovered by the local Tama Native American tribe in the state of Georgia. The Altamaha-ha is described as having a sturgeon-like body with a bony ridge running along its back. It has front flippers and, interestingly, no back limbs. It swims like a dolphin in an undulating fashion and has a crocodilian snout. Some witnesses report its colouring as being grey with a whitish yellow underbelly, while others report that its skin is actually green in colour, which allows it to camouflage itself. South Georgia fishermen, beware. Number 5. Crocotta. The Crocotta is a vicious canine cryptid, a dog wolf, with origins in India as well as in the African country of Ethiopia. It has the body of an extremely large dog, sometimes said to be as large as a mule. Its head resembles that of a hyena. It has demonic cloven hooves, a horse-like mane, and a tail similar to a lion's. Its fur ranges in colour from a yellowish orange to a brownish black, and can include either spots or stripes. As if being a mule-sized, ferocious wolf wasn't frightening enough, it is also said to have the ability to mimic humans, the way parrots do, and uses this ability to lure its unsuspecting human prey towards it, usually by pretending to be a person in dire need of help. This hunting tactic is also used by another carnivorous canine cryptid, the Awi Zot, which is native to the countries of South America and was well known by the ancient Aztec and Mayan civilizations. The Crocotta, similarly, was well known in Roman times, as the Roman historian Cassius Dio credited the Emperor Septimius Severus with bringing it from India to Rome. While not seen in the wild in the present day, it's highly likely that the Crocotta is an extinct member of the canis family. Or, then again, it could just be an extremely rare creature, one that's still out there using its powers of mimicry to lure unsuspecting Good Samaritans to their doom. Number 4. The Orabou. There is little information available on this cryptid, but what we do know is that the Orabou, sometimes called the Orabon, is a weird fish-like creature which was said to live in the waters of Mount Marzuan, once known as Mount Orabou in present-day Palestine. It is said to be between 9 and 10 feet long, with a strange feline-like appearance and with plated scales similar to the tatzelworm of the Swiss Alps. The French explorer André Thevet wrote about the Orabou in his Cosmography and stated that the meat from this creature tasted absolutely foul and that consuming it would result in kidney and bladder stones. Number 3. Kunekune. The Kunekune, Japanese for wriggling body, is a deeply strange and unsettling humanoid with white paper-thin skin and with the most unnatural of movements. It is said to always be wiggling, as if being blown by the wind, even when no wind is present. Being a white-skinned, alien-looking humanoid, it's possible that the Kunekune is related to the previously mentioned Fresno Nightcrawler. The Kunekune is said to only appear on hot summer days and stands in the middle of extended rice fields. Witnesses in Japan state that the creature can only be seen from a distance, and that people standing far away can observe field workers standing or walking right next to them, apparently completely unaware of their presence. Then again, some say that attempting to look at the Kunekune up close will drive a person completely insane. Perhaps these creatures are known to the field workers, and that's why they seem to be taking no notice of them. To do so would be to lose their minds. If a person tries to touch the Kunekune, it will kill them. Even observing them from a distance for too long could prove fatal. Perhaps that is why there are so few photos captured and so few witnesses. Number 2. Yamakachi. We'll be remaining in Japan for now, my friend, as there is another cryptid here that I would like to tell you about. Tell me, traveller, how do you feel about snakes? How about giant ones? For your sake, dear friend, I hope snakes don't upset you too much, because the Yamakachi is just that. It lives in Mount Tsurugi, and while rare, is feared so much that most hikers and campers take weapons along with them to protect themselves while visiting the area. In 1973, a sighting was reported by a local worker who stated that he saw a 10-foot-long black snake with a white underbelly, and not long after, several other sightings of the same giant snake were reported. The worker was fortunate enough to escape with his life. However, the Yamakachi, at 10 feet in length and living in a prime hiking hotspot, has been managing to sustain itself somehow. And finally, number 1. The Skinwalker. A question we must ask ourselves, traveller, is whether or not a special type of human being can be counted as a cryptid if they are thought to exist but are unconfirmed. Human beings with animal-like properties, mystical beings with truly awesome powers. I am taking a great risk telling you about this one, traveller, but I want you to have this knowledge, and I am fully prepared to face the consequences of my actions from here on should things take a sinister turn. Here goes. In many Native American legends, a Skinwalker is a person with a special ability. At will, they have the ability to transform into any creature they desire. These people are talked about extensively in these old native legends. It is said that, in order to transform into a specific creature, the Skinwalker must wear a pelt of said animal. They are, essentially, shapeshifters. The belief by many Native Americans in the Skinwalker is so strong that they dislike the fact that Skinwalkers appear in modern media, as mentioning them is thought to cause them to hunt down the person who mentions them. This is the same reason why they don't like talking about them with non-natives, and this is why I warned you before that I am taking a great risk by telling you about them. Skinwalkers are most frequently seen as a coyote, wolf, fox, eagle, owl or crow, likely because these are animals that have been found in the Americas for as long as the Skinwalker has been in existence. But any skin of any animal can be used to transform. Their eyes are said to glow, even when in human form. Luckily for us, this means that they can be easily distinguished. When they have hunted down a victim, often for having merely mentioned their kind, they use a poisonous powder called corpse dust to kill them. The dust is made from the bones of dead infants, specifically the bones from the fingertips and the back of the skull. The reason for this, and what special properties fingertip and backs of skull bones may have, is unknown. It's a shame that the Skinwalker doesn't use its powers for good. Instead, it uses them for evil. Another 10 cryptids you'd never heard of, another 10 reasons to stay up at night. If you're fortunate enough to not live in any of the areas where these cryptids make their homes, you can breathe a sigh of relief. However, keep in mind that there are cryptids everywhere, in every part of the world and in every country. Just because you've never seen your local cryptid, doesn't mean he hasn't seen you.